This garden that we have here is so visible because we don't have a backyard. We only have a front yard. It's right on the corner of 13th and Euclid Streets, and so it's become a real conversation piece. Many people stop on the sidewalk, even stop in their cars to ask, what's going on, what am I planting, what are we eating. Some of our neighbors, even tenants, stopping to say, hey, yeah, we really love your garden, and we've started our own garden and stuff like that. So you're seeing more urban food gardening, I think, now, which is a departure from the kind of gardening people were doing before. My name is Ed Brusky. I came to Washington actually in the mid-70s to finish journalism school at American University, and after graduating there, got a job at the Washington Post. A few years ago, we looked around our house here in a sort of busy, what was then kind of neglected urban neighborhood a couple of miles from the White House, and saw that there was not only nothing, we didn't have a garden, we didn't have any landscaping, so we started to turn the yard into an edible kitchen garden, and that's what I've been doing for about the last 6 years.
And during that same time, Ed began to produce a blog where he posts pictures and articles that touch on everything from omelet recipes to global warming. Ed's articles are read by Americans including concerned parents, White House officials, and other policymakers.
Just lately, within the last year, discovered this whole controversy around school food, and have been very focused on writing about that and trying to get to the bottom of what's happening with school food.
Ed began by asking for and receiving permission to take pictures of the food being served at his daughter's school.
They say that the most important tool in a school kitchen now is a box cutter, and that's exactly what it was. It was ladies, slicing open boxes of frozen food and dumping it in the stainless pans, cooking it off in the steamer, and heating grilled cheese sandwiches that are made in a factory in Los Angeles and get shipped frozen here and heated in the plastic packaging, and all kinds of atrocious stuff.
Now, there's an altogether different kind of food in his daughter's cafeteria. Through continued pressure on the food suppliers by Ed and other DC residents, the food has clearly changed to one that involves less sugar, less fat, and is less manufactured before arriving to the school kitchen. Ed sees this as a big step, but believes there is more to be done.
Muffin, string cheese, and looks like candy. I'm the only parent in the cafeteria. There's nobody there talking to the kids about what the food is, even with all the changes that have been made in DC school food in the last year. There's nobody selling it to the kids. There's nobody marketing it. And that's pretty much it. Here it is. That would be our tool shed. It's one thing when you buy an old house in the city, you soon discover that there's no storage space in them. They don't even have closets. Yeah, people have been inspired by the garden. There are other people who have hated the garden and said, Ed, you ought to get a farm, move to West Virginia, why don't you just put up a clothesline, put a washer and dryer on your porch, and blah, 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 But then Michelle Obama came on the scene and made it very fashionable to have a food garden, and so we've heard, those voices less and less. But we know that there are people out there who, really despise the idea of us growing vegetables as visibly as we do. So I would say majority people, are cheering us on. A lot of people aren't saying anything, and then you got a few dissenters in the crowd. Yeah. Well, my greatest fear, of course, is that that the human race is committing suicide with global warming, and we're not doing anything about it. We seem to be sleepwalking right off the edge of a cliff. My greatest hope is that people wake up and do something very fast, because it's not happening nearly fast enough